Smith, Derek James. Shout out J. Calderon Boxing Talk.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy, J. Calderon, Stanley Entertainment, and we're about to get into this week's Boxing Talk. Two of the most powerful, influential men in boxing today, Bob Arum's top rank and powerful boxing advisor, Al Haymon of PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, have sat down to discuss three major fights in 2020. Now, this is great news for boxing fans because we know about the rivalry between both Top Rank and PBC. We know the things that Bob Arum has said about Al Haymon, and we know that Al Haymon doesn't speak to the media. So, there's a lot of fans that are riding with PBC and have a lot of negative things to say about other promoters that are not involved with PBC. But also we have promoters on the other side that have talked down about PBC as well. So, this is great news. If there's dialogue between both men, that they're able to sit down and discuss future fights, these big fights are great fights for boxing fans because they are major fights that are going to take place hopefully next year. So the first fight that we all know about is the deal that's in place right now that is signed and sealed and ready to be delivered between WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury, the former heavyweight champion who is the lineal heavyweight champion. This is a great matchup that took place, last year where these guys fought to a draw. A lot of people are saying it's very controversial because people feel that Tyson Fury should have won on the scorecards, and some people feel that Deontay Wilder should have been able to get the stoppage in the 12th round because it was a long count. And, this is going to be settled once and for all. The fight is scheduled to take place sometime in February of 2020. It's a great big matchup. We all know that Tyson Fury signed the deal with Top Rank and also ESPN. So their involvement in this is going to make the platform even bigger. Because right now, Deontay Wilder has a very good relationship with Showtime. And Showtime did the first pay-per-view. But I'm hearing right now that Deontay Wilder is in between Showtime and Fox Television Network because they do have a relationship with PBC where Al Haymon got a very big deal to put more fights on Fox Television Network, and Showtime has gotten a lot less fights in 2019. So, the two biggest names that Showtime has right now is Deontay Wilder and Gervonta Tank Davis. These are the two big stars in boxing that are holding up the Showtime network for boxing. And if these guys are no longer going to be fighting on Showtime, then what's going to happen to Showtime? Because they're just going to fall off the map. So, right now they're looking at the numbers. They're trying to see which route to go. Who's going to be able to distribute Deontay Wilder's next fight, which is a rematch against Luis Ortiz. That's a very big fight that's supposed to happen in November of this year. We're going to see how this plays out and then who's going to be able to get the Tyson Fury-Deontay Wilder fight, because that's a major heavyweight fight on a major platform for 2020. Perhaps one of the biggest heavyweight fights of next year that's going to bring in a lot of money and a lot of eyeballs that are going to tune in for this fight. So if that fight was made between PBC and Top Rank and they were able to make that fight happen, signed and sealed. Now, the other fights that were being discussed is the much anticipated welterweight showdown between number one pound for pound best fighter in the world and WBO champ Terrence Bud Crawford taking on undefeated IBF welterweight champion Errol the Truth Spence Jr. This is a great matchup that boxing fans are salivating for. They want this fight. It's a major fight, a very big fight that we hope that can materialize next year because these guys have gone in different directions. They wasn't able to make the fight this year. There was a lot of hype throughout the media. Both fans are on both sides of the fence, saying who's going to win that fight. And it's a very intriguing matchup where Fox Television Network and ESPN, which has a past relationship with sporting events, could definitely get together and make this a major pay-per-view fight. It's a great opportunity for a lot of guys to make money in this fight. It's a very good, interesting fight where it's two top pound-for-pound fighters that are going to face off against each other that are both undefeated. Now, we know that Errol Spence has a fight coming up later on this month against WBC welterweight champion Sean Showtime Porter. And many people are writing Sean Porter off in this fight, expecting Errol Spence to win this fight, perhaps even by knockout. I don't see it that way. Sean Porter could definitely spoil the apple cart and pull off the upset victory, which will spoil all plans for a future showdown with Terence Crawford if that happens. But if Errol Spence wins like he's expected to win and unify the WBC and IBF title, then that makes this matchup even bigger going into 2020 between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. And it's a matchup that Bob Arum and Al Haymon cannot ignore. I know there's a lot of people saying that Errol Spence has to clean house over on the PBC side. There's a lot of options for him. Bud doesn't have any options. He's fighting his mandatory, which no one knows who this guy is. They call him Mean Machine, but this is a guy that doesn't deserve to be in the same ring with Terence Crawford right now, especially after his last fight where we saw him basically getting a gift decision where he shouldn't have been able to win that fight against Ray Robinson. So, this right here is a meaningless fight for Bud Crawford, and he needs some big-name opponents. So can Bob Arum and Al Haymon come together to make this fight a possibility in 2020? And that's one of the things that they discussed when they sat down for the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder meeting. So, I'm hoping that this fight could definitely be made. It's a very big platform for both men. It's a title unification match against two top pound-for-pound fighters. A lot of boxing fans definitely want to see this fight, so why not make it happen? Now, the third fight that was in discussion is a very big lightweight showdown between the lightweight kingpin of the world right now, Vasily Lomachenko, who is with Bob Arum in Top Rank. This guy is being hailed as pound-for-pound best fighter in the world as well. Some people have him number 1, number 2. I got him number 4 on my list, but this guy has accomplished winning titles in 3 different weight divisions, 5 world titles in just 15 pro fights, and he is right now one step away from becoming the undisputed champion with 4 of the major title belts at 135 pounds. Just think of this right here. The late, great Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker unified 3 of the belts during the 1990s, where he became the lightweight king of the division, undisputed. Back then, it was only 3 titles. Now, it's 4 titles. Some people would not want to recognize the WBO, which is ridiculous. That's something that PBC started on their end. But there are a major title belt, and they are in the picture. So, Vasily Lomachenko to become, perhaps, I believe, is the 5th person in boxing history to unify the titles. Guys like Bernard Hopkins, Jermaine Taylor, Terence Crawford, and also Vasily Lomachenko's best friend, Usyk, who unified the cruiserweight division. So Vasily Lomachenko could join that elite group of fighters to do it in history. So winning all 4 major titles and being the king of 135 pounds, the lightweight division, Gervonta Tank Davis is a guy that's a 2-time junior lightweight champion who just vacated his title and moved up to the 135-pound weight division. This is a great, great matchup where boxing fans have been talking about this fight for more than a year, and it's a fight where both of these guys are in their prime. These guys are very good and very talented. Tank Davis is an explosive knockout artist with hand speed, with boxing skills. Lomachenko has great footwork. He has speed. He has great defensive skills, an excellent boxing technician in that ring. So it's a great matchup that boxing fans truly want to see. And the move by Gervonta Davis going up to lightweight just makes it even more interesting. There's been rumors that, Bob Arum said that Lomachenko is willing to go down to 126, 130, or fight at 135. He will not move up to 140, but he will be able to fight anyone from 126 featherweight division up to lightweight division of 135 pounds. And there's a lot of opportunities and options for Vasily Lomachenko. You have Oscar Valdez, who moved up to 130. You also have the IBF champion, Tevin Farmer, that has a working relationship because of Lou DiBella and Eddie Hearn with Bob Arum. So that's a great matchup that could happen as well. Also, you have WBC champion Miguel Pachel, who has a working relationship with Top Rank. And you have the WBO champion, which is Jamel Herring, which is also with Top Rank. And these are fight opportunities that can happen for Vasily Lomachenko, where he could go down there and unify 2 of the world titles at 130 pounds. You have Carl Frampton that's going to fight Isaac Dobig now. at 126, but could move up to 130 for a matchup for Vasily Lomachenko. So, there's a lot of great fight opportunities there. You also have the fact that Mikey Garcia has been negotiating with DAZN, also with Top Rank. We know that there was bad blood between him and Bob Arum. There was a really bad split between them. But he also has the option to join Top Rank again if he chooses to. And the biggest deal that's going to be made for a guy like Mikey Garcia to rejoin Top Rank is the Vasily Lomachenko fight, perhaps at 135 pounds, because like I said, Lomachenko is not going up to 140, so Mikey will have to come down. But that's an option right there for Vasily Lomachenko. As far as Gervonta Tank Davis, we know that he's in negotiations to face Yorkis Gamboa, the biggest name on his resume so far. That's a matchup where I believe Gamboa is going to get knocked out. I've been a day one Gamboa fan, but let's be realistic. Gamboa is about 36, 38 years old. He's up there in age. He's not what he once was, and he's just a name on Gervonta Davis' resume so that he could be able to look spectacular and win that fight. But he will be winning a WBA vacant regular title, which is ridiculous because I believe that the WBA needs to start eliminating these titles. They're just putting these titles out so that they could be able to create more money for their organization. They said they were going to reduce their titles. They still haven't done it. It's been more than a year they've been talking about that. They need to make Gervonta Davis mandatory contender for WBA lightweight champion Vasily Lomachenko right now. There's no excuse for this man not to be mandatory. He's champion at 130 pounds. He moves up in weight. He should be automatically placed as the mandatory just for respect as being the champion from the lower weight class, something that the WBO does when they move up to the next weight class. They get first dibs, and that's what should be going on right now between the WBA organization to make Gervonta Davis the mandatory for Vasily Lomachenko. We don't have to put another title where he's going to be able to defend against other guys, instead of facing Vasily Lomachenko. But like I said, Bob Arum and Al Haymon, this is one of the fights that they discussed. It's a major fight. Floyd Mayweather is also involved because he is the promoter for Gervonta Davis. Floyd takes a lot of what Al Haymon says into consideration. They have a great relationship, and hopefully there's a lot of money on the table where Floyd Mayweather will pull the trigger and allow this fight to happen because it's a great fight, with a big platform. Like I said, you have Showtime, you have Fox, and you have ESPN also involved for a major pay-per-view platform. And this is the best pay-per-view for both Gervonta Davis and Vasily Lomachenko because neither one have been a pay-per-view star yet. They both haven't had their first pay-per-view. This is the perfect fight for both men to have their very first pay-per-view, and it's one that's going to attract a lot of boxing fans to tune in for this fight, and I can't wait. So I'm hoping that this will materialize more. There will be more conversations and discussion between Top Rank and PBC, between Al Haymon and Bob Arum, so that hopefully these guys could come together and kill the Cold War that has been going on for several years, because these guys have a very good stable. Both guys need each other. It's not one needing more of the other because, no matter what division you look at, one might have leverage in one division, but the other one has leverage in another division. So, these guys need to come together and making the best fights possible for the boxing fans because fans will definitely tune in just for these 3 fights alone in 2020. It's going to be a very explosive, great year if these fights could be made. And it all comes down to PBC and Top Rank working together, and only Bob Arum and Al Haymon can make these fights a possibility. So let's hope and pray for boxing fans that this will become a reality in 2020. But that's my take on the possible fights that can happen in the near future. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into this YouTube channel right here, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. Please hit that little red subscribe button, hit that bell icon, put your email information in so you get all my notifications once I drop a new video. Hit that like button, hit that share button, drop a comment, follow me on all social media platforms, on Twitter, on Instagram, and join the Facebook boxing group page, all under the same name, J. Calderon Boxing Talk. I'm J. Calderon, Stand Clean Entertainment. Thanks for your support. Keep watching and please subscribe.